This company, Synchron, is killing Neuralink. Elon Musk said so himself in an interview when he said they're kicking our ass. You'd think Neuralink would be ahead. They get the most news coverage, it's run by Elon, it's the most funded, but what if I told you that there's only been one implant of a Neuralink device while Synchron has already hooked up 10? What's going on? How could this be possible? Well, what if I told you that it had to do with this device and this show right here? Let me show you what I mean. Let's start with this crazy looking device. This is what they're calling a stentrode. It's a device that connects to the brain and reads signals from it, but not in the way that you might think. You might think that you need to connect wires or a chip directly to the brain to read it, but that's not true. The stentrode travels up the jugular vein in a condensed tube and then expands when at the brain. It then reads brain signals through the blood vessel. Wait, what does this have to do with Synchron's success against Neuralink? Well, because this device was an incredible innovation that was built upon already existing technologies. Let me show you why that's important. This is a photo from 1986. It's one of the first stents created. What's a stent? It's a wire mesh placed into a hollow structure in your body, an artery, a vein, etc. This wire mesh then expands when in the structure and holds it open so that flow remains consistent. It's an incredibly important invention. In fact, 3 million stents are placed in human bodies every year. This is very important for Synchron's success. You know why? Practice. You know who loves practice? The FDA. The FDA approved Synchron's request to begin human trials on 6 US patients who have been severely paralyzed, and that was all the way back in 2021. Surprisingly enough, that wasn't the first time that they received approval to carry out this procedure. Their first human patient received the implant in 2019 in Australia. However, at the time of this video, Neuralink has only implanted their device in one person. Plus, they're slow to update the public with information about how this one trial is going. How come? Because of this. This is the Neuralink chip. Just look at that complexity. It's got a battery and an inductive charger, a circuit board with tons of chips and other electronics, and a strip of 1024 electrodes across 64 threads. You know what all that complexity means? Well, you have to use this thing. This is the surgical robot used to install the implant. The threads on the implant are so small that a human can't handle them even with a set of surgical tools. So the robot has to be the one that attaches the threads to the human brain. But the complexity doesn't stop there. Take a look at this clip of the robot targeting the specific areas to attach the threads. This process opens up a massive can of worms of complexity because, as they discuss in their promotional video, they would like the operator of this procedure to simply press a button and watch the robot go to work. Now, this puts a massive amount of faith into the robot and its image recognition software. Each person's brain is different, and properly attaching the threads to each patient's brain autonomously is a monumental task. In fact, patient number 1 is reportedly already having issues with this. A few weeks after installing their first implant, Neuralink reported a number of the threads retracted from the brain, resulting in a net decrease in the number of effective electrodes. In other words, the implant is now operating at imperfect levels. But you know what Synchron requires to install? A standard neurosurgeon and a little bit of training. At this point, you may be asking, why is Neuralink making this so very complex? Well, now let's get back to Black Mirror. It's a show that taps into the collective unease about the modern world, portraying advanced technologies that lead to wild, eerie outcomes. Many of the episodes feature some sort of brain chip that allows characters to do extraordinary things, relive memories, play ultra-realistic video games, live in simulations, etc. Now, I believe that Black Mirror plays a big part in how Synchron is beating Neuralink. These stories are incredible pieces of art that draw you in and leave you wanting more. But I would argue that half of the appeal of the show is actually the fascinating technology that its writers come up with. I mean, technology that tricks your brain into thinking that you are actually present in a video game, delivering realistic smells and perfect visuals. That's objectively cool tech that I imagine all of us would want to try. Believe me when I tell you that Elon Musk knows that you would like to try this video game too, which is why he's taking ownership of that game. If Elon is going to do something, he's going to do it to the extreme. It's his MO. Whether you are an Elon fanboy or you despise his guts, you have to admit the way that he runs his companies is fascinating. Let's take Tesla for example. Tesla couldn't just be a car company. Tesla had to be the company that brought full self-driving to the market, and Elon makes sure that you know that. He's constantly making outlandish claims about the progress of self-driving and where it will be in the near future. Starting in 2019, Musk has repeatedly repeatedly claimed that fully autonomous vehicles are just a year away. Still in 2024, we've yet to see that come to fruition. But it doesn't even have to. The point isn't to actually achieve the goals that he sets out to. The point is to get his following excited. The more wild claims he makes, the more passionate his fans become about him and the projects he's working on. They'll forgive him when these goals aren't reached in a timely manner, but along the way, he'll earn loads of new fans and loads of future customers. Which is why Neuralink can't just be a simple stent in the jugular vein. Neuralink has to be the futuristic device from Black Mirror that lets you communicate telepathically and learn new languages in 5 seconds. That way, the same people raving about his genius in the self-driving market, the aerospace market, and the transportation market can also rave about his genius in the brain-computer interface market. But let me show you something concerning. I think Musk may have finally met his match. This is the long-tailed macaque, the monkey used in Neuralink research programs, and they've become quite the headache for Mr. Musk because they keep dying. 21% of the monkeys used in their research have died, and around 1,500 animals have been killed. This is what I mean when I say he's met his match. That match being simple biology. Because you can make outlandish claims in self-driving and put pressure on your machine learning engineers. You can make outlandish claims about getting to Mars and put pressure on your aerospace engineers. But when you make wild claims about a brain-computer interface, you're forced to put pressure on nature itself. Understanding the hyper-complex world of biology isn't easy, so while Elon is fighting with dying monkeys and pesky neurologists, Synchron is making this research. Synchron's more realistic approach to brain-computer interfaces is allowing them to get a jump start on Neuralink and collect more data. With 10 patients and counting, Synchron has 10 times the amount of data to collect and use to improve their device. This process could quickly develop into a snowball. As more research is completed, more discoveries and innovations are made, leading to more advanced research, and I think you get the point. And all this research is definitely making waves. The company has received investments from Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, and it's even reported that Musk himself was interested in investing. So while Synchron isn't working on creating Black Mirror technology, they're doing something even more spectacular. They're taking a sensible approach to the brain-computer interface domain, allowing disabled people an opportunity to live their lives easier, an approach that has seated them many years ahead of their competitors. With the infinite funding and constant marketing from Elon, Neuralink may catch up at some point, but for now and for many years to come, Synchron is kicking their ass.